Are you looking for valuable business advice to reach that 7-figure revenue mark? Do you want actionable tips to properly navigate through every business challenge you encounter along the way? Let Tersh Blissett and Josh Crouch be your guide in getting you to the top here at Service Business Mastery. Tune in as they sit down with world-renowned authors in business, leadership, and personal growth who share valuable insights about management, marketing, pricing, human resources, and so much more. Let their nuggets of wisdom gold guide you in owning a thriving, profitable, and ever-growing business. Here are your hosts, Tersh and Josh.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You're listening to or watching the Service Business Mastery podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tersh Blissett. Joshua Crouch is actually going to get his hair did right now because we have a gala event to go to this evening. The Women in HVACR event in Phoenix, Arizona. Got it right that time. I said HVACR Expo earlier. I don't know what's over my brain. But, so I am here with, don't mess this up, Alex Coleman, Nicole Blair, and Ty Brenneman, and we're talking Faraday learning. And so they do recruiting and technician training, but we're going to talk more about the technician training side of it. Honestly, the rabbit hole that we could dive in, we might not talk about anything to do with Faraday, but that's our target, is to talk about that. But with that being said, if you wouldn't mind, give a quick introduction of yourselves and where you're from, kind of like how you got into doing what you're doing.
Sure, I'll start. I'm Alex Coleman. I'm the founder and CEO of Faraday. Actually grew up in manufacturing. My father and uncle, high school, joined the workforce. Eventually took all my grandfather's private savings and started a manufacturing business. So kind of grew up on the shop floor. Allowed me to go to college. I started for a few years after that, and then started Faraday to try and get my people into basic manufacturing.
Oh, that's cool. I got a lot of questions for that. But
I'm Nicole Blair. I'm the head of operations at Faraday. I've been in business. My background in business and started in
oh, very cool. Very cool. And you, Mr. Ty?
Hi, Brandon. I'm a student of HVAC full time. I also love teaching what I've learned and what I love about this trade. I love sharing it with other people. And I'm a part of a lot of different places of education and different ways of transferring information. And I really like what Alex is doing. And it's cool to be a small part of what he's working with, being able to help and reach a different type of people. So anything to do with education, training, and helping people learn, that's what I'm about.
I learned, so I knew Ty before, but I really watched Ty do training at the HVAC school symposium. And it was the last day. I think you were the last presenter on the last day. And so it was kind of ghost town in there. And everybody was kind of there, but not really there. Physically there, but mentally they had checked out. But I was at the back of the room, and honestly, I was just going through my camera, scrolling, looking at content that I had collected, and all of a sudden I'm like, everything that's I'm saying right now is just really resonating. It's making so there's a lot of aha moments where I'm like, I wish I could explain it that way, or maybe I wish I could understand it that way whenever I was a technician. And then I was like, all right, it's time for me to put my camera down, and I'm going to pay attention to what Ty's got going on here. And it really is a game changer for me. I mean, I was so exhausted because at that event, it's next level partying, wild. At the same time, you're really learning a lot about air conditioning and things that you didn't know about. And we stay in what we call the animal house, which is it started out with I don't know, 5 or 10 guys, and now it's 50 guys and gals that are just at this rented house, and I am by far the dumbest guy in the room, by a long shot. So all I can do is just sit there and make smart comments and try and egg people on, but it turns into a wild time. And so it's an exhausting week, but it's a lot of fun. And for you to be able to engage, the whole audience was just really engaged in everything. I thought that was a really amazing thing. And I've told people that a lot. And Ty is always on the live streams, and I appreciate that. But he's a really, really great educator. So I'm excited to have him on the show and talk about that. First off, we are at the Women in HVACR event. What brought y'all here?
Airplane.
That's why I love Ty. Like, seriously, that's like, he's my spirit animal here. Like, this is amazing. We're done. We can hang up the conversation now.
I think when we first started the business, I think one of the first organizations we started, we were still trying to get to know a lot of people, but
Really?
we were really focused on trying to bring diversity into the industry already. That was kind of a tenet of starting the business. So naturally, with John, the HBCR, got to know Erica and Colleen really well, and they're friends at this point. So it's actually the first time we've been at the conference.
Yeah.
But we've been on their Zoom session. We've been kind of support members. We had a lot of women from our program. We tried to recommend joining the
So you speak about the event, your program. How does that occur? Because is it in New York, or is it like, is that where it's physically located, or is it an online type training, or what is it?
Yeah, it's totally on. So it's a virtual training program. It's a mixture of pre-recorded content that we created with Ty and live classes that are instructor led. So we have one of our instructors taught at the USA Power School.
Nice.
One of our instructors, we have another one who's taught at community college level. All of work in the field, either taught in the field or own their own business, and they teach that program.
So is this a legit college degree type thing, or how does that even work?
Definitely not a legit college degree. The program's 6 weeks long, so it's an accelerated program.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
We don't have to spend money on phys ed classes that we don't need.
It's really designed around career transitioners, so people that work in manufacturing, warehouse, retail, restaurant.
Dude, that's the biggest pain point that I have as a business owner, because we have some great culture and amazing like team members, and then people are asking like, "Oh, I really want to join your team." You make too much money. Like, you're in your career field and you make too much money because you still have a mortgage to pay, and I have a bleeding heart, and I will pay you more than what you're worth, and then I'm going to lose money, and we're going to close the business down because you can't afford you to be an apprentice making $35 an hour because that's what your mortgage requires. So that's that. I love that whole thought process of having an accelerated program. How can people learn that much that fast?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're not saying you come out of the program, you can fix anything.
And you're a super tech.
Yeah, not the case. We make that very evident.
Can you read a PT chart?
Can read a PT chart.
Yes.
So
Do they know what a PT chart is?
They walk out with their basically certification at the end of the program. They walk away with credentials. But really, we're focused on the foundation. So foundations of technical, foundations of service, foundations of how the business works, and then we're really preparing someone for the apprentice role, and we're communicating that to students. Right, you're not a super tech, you're an apprentice, and for the business, you're not hiring someone that's free.
Right.
Put in 6 weeks. Arrange that they have a certification, they have some knowledge. You don't start
they've put some skin in the game.
Certainly, and it's actually it doesn't cost. So
okay.
It's totally free for students.
How does that even work then?
So it's employer-backed education from contractors.
Okay, so if a contractor is looking to hire someone, they have to pay for that individual to get started and go through the program.
So we'll find the individual. We find a lot of individuals. We get about 15,000 who come to our website every month.
Wow.
For opportunities.
How many in Spanish?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, well, we'll have to talk about this afterwards.
we get a bunch of people who say, I'm interested in trades. I work in Amazon warehouse facility. I work at UPS. I make $18 an hour. I want a career. I don't want a dead end job, but I can't afford to go to trade school. I can't afford the time or the cost. I have a mortgage. I have kids, and it's a very big risk for me. Like, what if I don't like HVAC?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, they get 3 weeks in or 3 months in and of a 3-year program, or a year in, and they're like, "Yeah, that's not for me."
Yeah,
I don't really like PT chart.
Right, or they're just like, this isn't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
It sounded good. So we find those people. We go through a pretty strict vetting process before actually interviews every person that applies to our program.
That's a lot. That's a full-time job in itself.
Two full-time jobs.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
We do aptitude assessments. We do pre-recorded interviews.
Now, your aptitude assessment, is it in there? Are you testing someone to see if they're mechanically inclined?
Most of it is mathematics. So,
Okay.
We'll do grid assessment, personality assessment. I mean, I think we actually use our 6-week training program as a bit of a mechanical aptitude assessment.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If they go through that program and complete the
They're good.
I mean, it's pretty good. It's like,
I had a technician come, and I've shared this several times on the podcast, but great kid and great personality. But when it came to mechanical aptitude, not there. Just wasn't there. He was doing this ride along interview process, and he came to the lead technician and was like, "Hey man, I need a different drill bit." It was a chuck because it was 5/16. And he's like, "I can't take that panel off because this one only goes in. I need a different one that goes out." And I was like, "Oh, that's tough. Like that's bad."
it's expensive component, yeah.
And I was like, "We got to go back to the basics on this one." And so I had a few other questions for him, and he wasn't going to work out because he just had no mechanical aptitude at all. So that is always my first question for people now after having that, because our interview process is a pretty extensive process. I mean, 5 steps long, where if you're doing the ride along, you've already made it through the personality side of things, and I know that you're a good people person. So I invested a lot of time in them just to find out that no, you can't do anything like this at all. So yeah, I love hearing that. They'll do that.
So I've taught at schools all across the country, for-profit, not-for-profit schools, and the thing constant is everybody gets passed. Whether you know which way to open a tank. I've had students that literally broke the handles off trying to open the tank to turn it on. Students that had an adjustable wrench and they were using the wrong end. Where you hang it in the wall trying to loosen accessory. And they all get passed. Everybody, they paid money, $20,000 and get passed.
Yeah.
And while I do multiple different ways of teaching, and I believe in education, Alex has the only program I've seen that when somebody doesn't have that, they don't push them through. They talk to them, have a serious conversation with them, and say, "Look, I don't think this is going to be the right path. This program, this method. Not saying you can't be successful. It's just that this path isn't the right way." And it's the only educational source I've seen that was honest about that in my experience.
That's gold right there, because, like you said, it's even if it's a nonprofit, they still need the money from the student to come through. And I love the term nonprofit because there's some for-profit companies that are not profitable, but there's also some non-profit, quote unquote, using air quotes here, that are very profitable companies, and it's yeah, but that's a different rant for a different conversation.
I think that nonprofits that own for-profit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I struggle with that one a little bit. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna donate to you now. But so I don't know. I'm in so many different rabbit holes. What's your take on this stuff? This event too, also.
Sorry.
This event as well.
Oh, this event is great. I think getting to meet so many women in the industry that are listening to their career. Even if they started off with me and asking how long folks have been in their career.
Wasn't that interesting?
I love things like that. Like I ask at weddings, how many people have been married for that long. I think it's just really meaningful to look at people who walk before you, like Colin said, and like a way for all of us to be here. So just making new connections, meeting people that has been a lot of fun. Like Alex said, this is our first year, but we'll get to do that.
How did you get into the industry?
Alex? Yeah, we got introduced. Oh yeah, my husband works for Dyson also.
Oh, by the way.
Yes.
Hello.
But I was really asked when I was in certified and counseling and we just really bought into the mission of getting more people involved in the trades and creating those career pathways for them. So it was really rewarding for me to be able to work with all of our students who want that career, who really want to learn and dedicate themselves to it. The only thing that we ask of them is their time and commitment. Like I said, we will remove people from the program if they're not keeping up and if it's not consistent and if they're not showing classes. But to see the students succeed and start their first HR job and do well and change out a heat exchanger, like we get to hear all these.
And then you get the pictures back from them, an email or a text message, and it's like, "Look what I did."
Yes.
Like, that's amazing.
Yeah,
So, try not to turn everything off. Stuff with my switch on there. And I lost my complete train of thought here.
I guess I'm curious on the mechanical aptitude.
Oh, I don't know. Go ahead.
I feel like that's such. I hear that all the time. When I first got into this, I remember talking to an instructor, and I was haven't had anyone that can really define what that means. It's kind
You
of
just know when you know.
Yeah.
Like, when you see it, you know it.
which is hard because there's no
It's
like
tough.
qualitative piece around it. You're like, yeah, it's like one of those things that they have or not have it. And we, I think the truth is like, a lot of people growing up now are not growing up around tools. So it's like there's just going to be less people that know, like, not knowing the
There's a
drills
ton of video games. I mean, and my kids. So I have 3 boys and a girl, and they, if I let them, they would spend the rest of their life playing video games all day, every day. Hey, mom, bring me food. You can get a bathroom. What's some things called that they do at the hospital? They would do that next to their video games. Like if we let them, they would do it. But and I fed into that because I want to little backstory. They were like, we wanted to go live on Twitch or YouTube or something like that. I said, okay, cool. I have a bunch of this junk laying around. I made it so that they could do it. Nope. Mm-mm. They have an amazing, what used to be a man cave is now their gaming cave. And it's got microphones set up at every television. They got all 4 TVs set up around the thing. And it's looks amazing, but it's not used other than playing video games and watching other people play video games. But we did take them outside. We have project vehicles, and I'm a gearhead at heart. And last Friday, I think it was last Friday. Yeah, it was last Friday. I had to change it. I wanted to change the exhaust on our Suburban. We have like this redneck jacked up Suburban, and they just put a new motor in it. And the catalytic converters needed to be replaced and all this other stuff. So I had the boys working with me. We welded a full exhaust system on it, and they were out there with me the whole time and just hanging out. And Addie, my youngest, she's out there watching YouTube on an iPad on her little mat, but she's out there with us, with the tools, handing a wrench, and understood what an adjustable wrench was, or and the 5/16 and all this other stuff. So that was my kind of goal. It's like, you don't necessarily have to get into the air conditioning world, but I want you to understand what tools are when it comes time to it.
It's funny you said that because last night I was dreaming that I was a muffler. I just woke up exhausted.
Oh my God. Ty, I really appreciate you. I really do. That is awesome. That's hilarious. So the other day I was interviewing, I can't forget about that, Colleen, and she mentioned that when we come to events, we come to trade events like this, and we ask each other, like, how big are you? How big's your company? How many service calls do you run? How many service techs do you run? And she said, I challenge you to not ask that question ever again. To ask the question, how many technicians have you brought into this rig? And it's like, oh shit, like that's deep, because it's like we constantly are saying we need to hire, we need to hire, we need to hire. But I don't want to hire somebody I have to train that's been 6 months training them, and then for them to leave, or for them to find out that they don't really like this job. And then we hire someone who has experience, which means that they have bad experiences as well, and they bring baggage with them. And so then it's like, then we blame them for all of that. And it's just a revolving door of, there is a solution. We all know the solution, but we don't want to do the solution. We just want to complain about the problem that we have at hand. What is it? How do you, as a business owner, how do we get involved and touched and the investment on doing something like this? Like, how does that process even work?
With Faraday specifically?
Yeah, with Faraday.
Yeah, so the process is, again, to get clear back to school. So there's no sign up fee, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Sit down with you and understand, how many techs you're looking to hire on this level.
1,000.
Yeah, that's what most people
I figured as much.
Actually, we want one.
Right.
Sorry. Understand kind of like, what growth you need, when you need it. We'll go out and find a candidate for you. And then contracts only pay at that.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll go.
So if they get like all the way to the end of 6 weeks, but 5 weeks and 6 days, and they're like, this isn't for me, and then the contractor doesn't pay anything.
Correct. Yeah. So our job is to kind of find the people that are suited.
So that's a whole nother level of integrity for y'all. And the fact that y'all still weed people out even though you're not going to get paid, that's next level for me.
We wanted to create a win-win situation where like contractors win, candidates or students win, and hopefully Faraday wins.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And Faraday
Got to stay in business
yeah,
somehow.
yeah. And if we couldn't do that, then we would try and figure something else out. But we didn't want to create a situation where like contractors lose or students lose.
Yeah.
Because if you have the marketplace where one or two people are losing, then you're not going to have very good business.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't cost anything. Contractor can look at all the profiles in an area. So if it's a data points, verify driver's license.
That's an important one right there. People kind of overlook that one a little bit, but that's a rather important one.
Yeah, we're working on trying to do some innovations with motor vehicle record checks, background checks, so that you can kind of see that before you interview someone. But I think the most important part is you do pre-recorded interviews. So when you look at candidates, we ask them 3 questions: who are you doing this for? Why do you use technician? Tell us about the time that you faced adversity and kind of thought through that, and then kind of tell us about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
As a contractor, you can watch those videos before you decide to interview someone. So you can kind of assess, hey, is this person sitting upright in front of a camera in a polo? Are they walking around the grocery store with their camera?
Are they actually answering questions? Are they giving like one-word answers, responses, and you have to like pull information? Because if you have to pull information out of them during the interview, imagine how that invoice is going to be written. Cool.
Yeah.
Students that apply for the program.
Wow. Yeah.
Walking around the grocery store, one-word answers. That's a good sign for us that they're not serious about it.
Yeah, and like most, I mean, I'm sure this happens to everyone, right? You interview a candidate, you're excited, and it's just like you never do it again.
They ghost you.
So
yeah.
We deal with all the ghosting.
Mm-hmm.
People ghost us all the time, and like that's like the easiest way to self-select out. Right? We reach out about the admissions deadline. And that's serious. That's fun.
You got Girl Scout?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it.
And one thing that's interesting about training is I have my YouTube channel. I have free education out there, and there's many other creators out there that have tons of free information.
Yeah.
But without somebody to ask questions, if people have questions, I don't understand it. I don't understand. I need somebody to talk to, and that's something that I can't do it all the time to commit to that to answer all these questions for free.
Right. Yeah.
And having Faraday, having instructors online or students can ask questions, have somebody to respond to. It makes a huge difference because if somebody comes through and says, "Yeah, I watched some YouTube videos," oh, you're gonna hire somebody? And they said, "Yeah, they know they track on YouTube."
Right?
Maybe, probably not.
They'd have to really prove themselves.
They'd have to prove themselves, and if they do, then wow, that's great. And those people are out there. But to have, like for me personally with ADHD, I need somebody to call and say, "Hey, Ty, where you been? What are you doing?" And I get back on track again. Mm-hmm. And with Faraday, they are doing that, and that's one thing that I can't do independently. One of the things I love education, I love training, but it's one of the things I just can't personally independently do is solve all the education problems.
Yeah, and there's a lot of problems. The thing that gets me is whenever I see a resume and they have every single certification that the tech school offers, I'm like, I wonder what they were doing. A career at the tech school.
Yeah, it's a hard problem for us, honestly, because like the 6 or 8 is required.
Yeah,
but we're kind of like, hey, don't talk this up because it's going to be flagged to a contract. Like, I got my 6 or 8 to make 3.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. So it's like such a hard thing because you want them, they're excited about it, right? They're earning this credential, and it's a really hard exam. At the same time, like, okay, don't talk about it, like it's a requirement for you to have, but don't be like.
It's so weird that that's the case though, because it is so true. Because when somebody comes to me and like, yeah, I'm certified. Certified with what? Like, I've got my certification. What certification do you have? And right, and I'm like. And they say, I have my Freon certification. I was like, okay, Freon certification. So you have your 608, right? And they're like, yeah. It's like, how long have you had that? How many times have you used anything related to that? Well, I have had it for like 6 years. It was like a test I had to take in a passing class that, like a elective or something like that. I was like, okay, you don't know any. What's the Montreal Protocol again? Like, explain that to me. Like, so it's. Sometimes it becomes a joke, but at the same time, like you said, when somebody legit takes the actual test, they understand all of that and they can interact and they understand what it all means. And I can't believe I even regurgitated any of that I took the test like 15 years ago. But they are proud of that. But the problem is that it's so the system's so diluted with people who took the test online and they were Googling the answers at the exact same time that they were taking the test, and it doesn't mean as much as it should mean to people.
Definitely.
Same with people taking the NAEP exam, in my opinion. I think it could be an amazing tool, but never mind.
No matter what certification you ever come up with, it was contractor's license. When I got mine, I was super excited about it. Then I bet contractors didn't even know what Super 8 subtooling or anything was. They had the same contractor's license, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not quite as proud of this as I was. I don't think there's any way you can do a certification that says somebody knows what they're actually doing. There's always going to be a test. There's always going to be a way to cheat the test.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that you done with it?
I could keep going.
I think that's something Kai and I have talked a lot about this.
Yeah.
There's the well-documented labor shortage that
Oh, absolutely.
talk about it. I think people conflate not enough experience tests with no one wants to get a trade. I just don't think that part is true.
I agree.
Like,
I agree with that.
They're like, a lot of people are like, you need more people that want to get interested. There's a lot of people that are interested.
Are you willing to spend the time and effort and energy in training them and allowing them to make mistakes without firing them? And that's a big one for us. I mean, we allow it's $250 a day. It used to be $500, but we had to put that one back a little bit. It was $250 a day mistake, so they can make a $250 mistake a day, or give away $250 worth of materials or a job a day without a phone call, text message, anything from me.
Why?
Right. If
Just
only
make a living on
if only yeah, right. So like if they step through a ceiling and it doesn't cost any more than $250 to fix, which is about what it costs, I don't say anything. Now we do have a sheetrock policy, so if they make a habit of stepping ceilings, then that's a problem. But if they make that mistake, then they're not going to hear anything from me. And it's amazing what the feedback that a new technician gets whenever they make a mistake and they're like, "Oh, I'm about to get fired." There was one guy that he was like a couple weeks in, 3, 4 weeks, 6 weeks in, and he stepped through a ceiling and it just cracked. Like he didn't step on it. He just like put his weight on sheetrock. And he took the guy that was the lead tech that was showing him around, and he told that guy, he was like, "I'll get fired. I don't know what to do. Like, should I even call him, or should I just call the sheetrock person myself and try and get it fixed?" And he's like, "No." Like he looked at him puzzled, and the guy was like, "No. Like we'll call Henry and we'll get it fixed." And that's the other thing, they have to call Henry before they even talk to the homeowner, because we got to make sure it's taken care of. But that guy was just blown away that I wasn't even going to say anything to him when that happened, and that's good and bad. Sometimes people take advantage of it, and that's where it's tough. But as a business owner, we kind of get burnt by people do that, and then we get jaded, and then it's like, man, I'm just going to hire somebody that's got experience and hope for the best. And if they don't work out, then screw them and we'll fire them and hire somebody else that's got experience, and we're just going to have a revolving door of people coming and going, And I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. There's probably a better way to doing things, and I think bringing new people into the industry is one of the biggest things for us. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I should need to hire Kyle.
Well, I'm sure thankful of. I worked with my dad doing sheet metal in 1995, and I did not enjoy that at all. But the first,
were you like 7?
I was I was still in high school, so I was working with my dad.
Not in 1995. You went in high school. You were like 7 in 1995.
I'm 40. I can't remember. 1979. Last year. After the Gen X.
79. No, you weren't. Just for men, I guess. You're doing good.
I'm just thankful for the company that let me get started, and then the second company after that took the time to train me. Randy Watson was a great businessman, and he was still ahead of his time. Like all the stuff that you talk about, Randy was teaching about way back then, all these years ago. And I was so thankful that he would. And I was a young kid, I was a hothead, and I used to complain about stupid stuff looking back. And Randy would always hear me out. He had 1,000 other things to do. He'd always hear me out, knowing that I was complaining about stupid stuff. And he would hear me out, and that meant the world to me.
Yeah.
And that was probably like the best education, just that employer taking the time to hear me out, offer training, offer me a way out. I mean, it was monumental for me. And who knows where I'd be without that.
Yeah. Shout out to Randy. Randy
Watson.
Randy. Shout out to Randy. Cool. Well, what else is there anything else that I can add? I mean, we're getting up at our time limit here. Where can a contractor find you?
Yeah, website faradaycareers.com, FARADAY
Where did that name come from?
We say Michael Faraday. Most people don't think of Faraday too. But Michael Faraday was a British student who actually never had formal education. He was practicing bookbinder and then started reading science, and he made major discoveries in electrolysis and electromagnetism. So he actually
Without going to school,
not going to school.
just by reading the book through his Bible, and he ended up teaching and discovering all kinds of cool things. The Faraday's, electricity, refrigeration, some refrigeration stuff about.
So we can have him explain what a capacitor does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's not with it.
We got to dig him up. 'Cause I got to get an explanation on this.
But yeah, we kind of said, yeah, the capacitors are rated microfarads. That's is how much microfarads.
Ah.
We thought the HVAC connection, more importantly, you don't need formal education to create things in this world.
Yeah. That's really cool. And what was the website again?
FaradayCareers.com.
Okay, cool. Make sure to add that in the show notes. Thank you all for spending time with me. I know that we all got to get ready for different stuff for this event, but taking the time and sharing all of this with us. And I look forward to learning more about Faraday and everything that y'all do in there. And I know what Ty does. He just makes jokes, bad jokes, bad ones at that. Hope y'all have a wonderful and safe day until we talk again next time. We'll see you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit servicebusinessmastery.com to learn more.